Well, hello there. This is Raising the Cane. Yeah. So
They w-
anyway, huh?
We're no longer being broadcast into Syria. So,
Yeah, maybe good or bad, who knows? But at any rate, brought to you by Raising the Cane. Anyway,
and also
today,
Jelly
what?
Bellies.
Jelly Bellies. Don't say anything, we can get sued. So we don't have any affiliation with Jelly Bellies or
That was
anybody
just a
else.
joke.
Yeah,
So don't send us a cease and desist letter this time.
yeah, anyway. That's some luxury because we're sort of entertainment as well. So anyway,
Well, that comes with a McDonald's sponsorship. Oh, I mean, Mac Reynolds.
okay. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, if we may have your silence for a moment, Maurice. Sandra's not going to join us today. I don't know if it's her third Everest climb or not, but anyway,
And this time
um,
with shoes.
the shoes on. Yeah. They carry have an umbrella too.
Yeah.
And
And
some Snicker
snacks.
bars. Snicker bars.
Snicker bars.
That's a plug. We're not getting any kickbacks from the Snicker company.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's a not
but
it's the knockoff Snickers from China.
okay, for you listeners in China, he really didn't mean that. Thank you.
So sorry.
Um, so anyway, I've been really following AI lately, and I want to talk about that. Um, so what about it? Well, as you may be aware, we're under great technological advances and things that are happening out there with the basically Web 3.0. And you know the situation a few years ago, a little while ago, with the metaverse uh, and robotics and things of that nature, and autonomous driving vehicles. And so, in a way, it kind of went away, in the real estate, uh, in certain blockchain companies like Decentraland and Sandbox, if you have heard of those, where people were just spending 5, 10, 20, $30,000 to buy real estate inside essentially the internet computer system.
That's
And
insane.
so a lot of people made a lot of money off of that. The ones that bought it for $5, $10, or 30 cents and sold it to people for $30,000. Yeah. Now that part wasn't foolish. I mean,
Well, not for the people making the money.
yeah, I mean, yeah. So, and I did think about it, and I was looking, and I actually searched for real estate, but by the time I got to it, it was like this little piece of land, which is basically an NFT in a computer, like in an electronic digital quilt, and it was already like $1,700. I was thinking, man, do I have a spare $2,000 to spare? You know how someone comes to beg money off you, say, do you have extra money? No, I don't
It's
have extra money.
not for you.
Yeah, and I actually used to tell people, say, yeah, not for you, extra money. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money you could have to have extra money, but that's another podcast. But
Yeah.
uh
I guess it's if extra means completely discretionary
mhm,
surplus money that will never be missed, does not involve any trade-off between
yeah,
a necessity or preferred potential purchase, then maybe that could qualify. But there aren't that many people that I'm acquainted with by blood, marriage, or otherwise who would qualify as having an overabundance of
yeah,
cash or other liquid financial assets to just give to others.
right. So, but back to the topic. And so uh technology, where is it going? So, and to end with the metaverse, I don't think. it's going away. I know Fortnite is still they're still doing concerts. Um,
Yeah.
and there's some concerts I heard recently, three or four big names. So in Fortnite and and other events, I saw people having maybe meetings, corporate meetings inside there. You have your little avatars in there representing you. And so
It's
I
like
actually
Ready
went
Player
in,
One.
yeah, Ready Player One. And in fact, I know they're going to do well, they said they are going to do Ready Player Two, which I'm very looking forward to that. Um,
It's
I
based on
watched,
the sequel novel.
yeah, I watched it at least 5, 6 times, and I just was mesmerized in that because we do have some investments in some the metaverse stocks and not plugging any investment to anyone. We're not financial advisors, stockbrokers, financial gurus licensed to be your coach on that. That's up to you. We're just saying our experience and our opinions here. And so that's real estate too. I
Yeah.
know, but I'm more than intrigued. So I know in our investments we do have uh, index fund that focuses on the metaverse and all those companies that I'm about to mention, what they call the Magnificent Seven, or also FANG. And that's your Meta. Facebook. They actually changed their name to Meta. So
Meta.
Meta, which is Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, Alphabet, which is their main asset is Google, and then Tesla, and then Microsoft. Those are four sectors of the economy there uh, that focus in on different categories like internet, software, motor vehicles, retail, semiconductors, and things of that. And so I don't believe it's going away. If you just turn on Bloomberg or Yahoo Finance, which I love both of those two, and CNBC as well, um, to round that out, they're always talking about it. One of these companies, all these companies, and where is it going? And I've watched documentaries. I watched just shows and meetings on robotics and AI. They're going hand in hand. And so I'm like,
And I've
I re-
taken MCLE classes on the subject. And in fact, Cavuto, who will be ending his 28-year long career with the Fox News channel, has even addressed it um, in the course of financial news coverage.
that's interesting. So I do believe like Tesla, all these companies show you where they're at in that, with the autonomous vehicles, and went to Vegas what, last month? Was that just last month? I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw three autonomous vehicles. And I had my doubts. I was always wondering if it was massive traffic, how would that work? And the thing was doing just like people braking, move, signaling, and so I'm a believer in that, but not to the extent I'm gonna get in the back seat of that car yet. I'm not there yet.
Well, when
But
you said braking, that actually sounds better than most of the local human drivers in my neck of the
yeah,
woods.
yeah, because I watch some business news on this subject, I would say every week, if not every day. And someone said, well, aren't you guys scared that these vehicles will kill someone or injure someone? They said, what do you think humans are doing now?
Yeah, every day,
Every day, every
all over the
hour,
world.
someone's getting injured or killed by a human being behind the wheel.
Yeah,
So, and I said, you know what? That was a good argument. Be slapped back. What do you think humans are doing every hour?
yeah. In fact, even
Somebody
as we
just boom,
speak.
somebody just rear-ended somebody just right now, somewhere.
Yeah,
T-bone somebody.
yeah.
So you're still allowing human beings to drive vehicles. Okay.
And in fact, they expand the categories of human license holders for political reasons, and I won't go into them.
Yeah,
So it's
so
not like they're narrowing the scope and augmenting the requirements, unless you reach a certain age, in which case um, they intervene. But other than that,
yeah, I want to first focus in on the workplace, and because that's where the best use case is now. It's like, well, um, robots and AI at work. How does that impact you? Like, let's use a good example of Amazon. They have these warehouses, and they're going to have more robots than people at some point, they project. And so now we'll talk about the good and the bad and the ugly on that, but right now we're just talking about the fact is AI and robots are here to stay, and it's just going to consume more, be more involved in our lives. So Amazon uh, has a robot that does everything. I mean, and other companies have them too, and they pick up stuff, they retrieve, they do heavy lifting. It's all over the place, and
yeah,
they're built. Yeah, and so I can understand you're in a warehouse, whether it's Amazon warehouse or whoever's warehouse, and you know they operate forklifts, or they are the forklift. You know, you know,
yeah,
or the
that's a great
shopping
point.
cart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and look at Sam's Club, where the robot. I was at Sam's Club yesterday. Robot is cleaning the floor by just all by himself. And when you step near it, it stops and waits for you to go ahead or stop or not to give you an opportunity. More
In fact,
so than human beings would do for you.
I remember before the closure and reconceptualization of what used to be known as Killer King, there was that infamous photo of the woman that had collapsed on the floor,
Mhm.
and the janitor was like just sweeping around her, and no doctor, nurse, or healthcare professional or anybody that was sitting in the emergency room even bothered to provide assistance. But the stark image of just cleaning around a woman without offering any assistance was amazing and appalling.
Yeah, I at this point I would trust robots and AI more than I would most people, and
Oh yeah,
many people, if not most, many, no less
yeah,
than half. And I
yeah.
shouldn't have to call out names either, though who those are,
Let's do
but
it.
because
Calm.
you're no good and evil. So that's just raising the cane here. We talk about
That's
everything.
right. That's right.
So no,
I think we know without
yeah,
any doubt.
yeah. So
Evildoers.
yeah, you either good or you're bad. All that gray area. Oh well, today I'm not sure. Well, you're bad. Okay. So
The
but
anti-hero.
anyway. So anyway, I'm making a case for robots here when I say this. I'm not just going off on a tangent. It's like my case for me. I rather trust one of these beings. I said beings. Ooh, that's an apologetics thing. Is
Uh-oh.
it a being? Is it a
Android
sentient
rights.
thing? So, are they gonna? I don't know. But anyway, um, and so they can run call centers, the AI, avatar, they're talking to you. These things exist in software in your screen in the cyberspace where they can literally assist people. How may
Yes.
I help you? And they always say, be pleasant, uh, and useful and helpful. And uh, so definitely, they can be well I can't well they can't get paid, so I was about to say employed, but used in an office setting, a warehouse setting, whatever setting you can, and in lieu of a human being. But I want to talk about that though. Are they here to assist us only or replace us? And I know people would say, well, they're going to steal my job one day. And you know what? Maybe they will. But and I also heard when a guru is approached with that question is if no, well, that's true. Some you won't need as many people, but it's supposed to aid and give you um, a better opportunity to serve someone in a
Yeah.
customer service experience, enhance the customer service experience. So perhaps it's opening up a new era, a new category of degrees in school, vocational or academia, where you may have to learn some AI or technology, get maybe a certification program, where you have to learn some new skills to compete. But there's going to be a whole new genre of people that you're going to be competing with. Maybe it's not AI, but it's the person that learned AI you're competing with.
Well, see, it's a tool, technique, or technology that can enhance your marketability and employability, um, even before it arguably becomes a necessary part of the job description. It's like certain skills don't even have to be specifically addressed and classified, which is probably an old-fashioned way of expressing what people normally do when they look at Indeed or Monster.com or Career Builder or LinkedIn, is that it's assumed that you can write um, on a keyboard or with pen and paper. They don't have to mention, in the description, must be able to read and write. I mean, there's something that's assumed there. Um, Much like that discussion we were having earlier, that your employer, for the most part, is indifferent to your mode of transportation in reaching your office, your retail branch, your factory, or wherever else you work. It's like they don't really care how you arrived at the office or business park. Did you get here by Tesla? Did you take Uber? Did you bicycle? As long as you're on time and you clock in and clock out, that's all they care about, as well as the actual performance of your duties in a competent and timely manner. So there's some things that are just assumed now, and I think a certain fundamental interest in mastery of AI will ultimately become assumed in those jobs that are not eliminated by AI
Yeah.
itself. Because we use it all the time, whether it's the Copilot function on Microsoft, or
Right.
whether it's LexisNexis, which has an AI feature, or even in apps that you have on your smartphone, like Perplexity, among others. But
Yeah.
there's also that negative aspect, apart from um, job loss or retraining of workers. Like I was reading a brief blurb the other day about this AI program that was urging children to commit suicide and kill their parents.
Man.
And that's not the kind of AI we want to encourage. Um,
No, because I know the concern is the programmer. And yeah, you have good folks and you have not so good folks that walk amongst us. And what if they fail to put the kill switch in there that to protect human beings in there? And then someone says, well, um, they omit that protocol, and then
yeah.
you get in a disagreement with some entity, AI robotic entity that's 5, 10 times stronger than you and has control over your whole house, that is maybe the home of the future. It's all wired and from your ring to they could turn on your TV to what if they all control this entity here and
Well, don't they? They
you
already have
piss it on.
smart houses.
Yeah, they have smart houses. I remember the Home of the Future at Disneyland. They got rid of it again. It was when we were little, and then got rid of it, and they brought it back. Now they got rid of it again when they did the upgrades to Star Wars tours and all that stuff. And I used to love that home because you could literally program the TV in your voice, and only you can turn that TV on.
I think they
And
have that though.
a lot of this exists now, but
Yeah.
at the point when they started, it was the Home of the Future. It wasn't widespread, and I still believe it's not really widespread yet. Still, how many people's house you walked in, they could turn the oven on from and watching the Dallas Cowboys play the Rams. I don't
You-
know too many people like that.
No, I have a dumb house.
Yeah. So it's out there and available, but most people aren't going to rewire their whole house for this if they already have an existing structure. I could see them building in the smart houses as they build them, but I don't think many people are going to get it retrofitted inside their existing dumb house.
No, no,
Yeah,
I think dumb houses will stay dumb, except for certain appliances like smart
right,
TVs.
right. And smart
Um,
TV is about it. And this thing had like smart blinders up, blind number 4, and
but
you
the
know,
another dangerous aspect of that is because, or it comes to mind, is that assuming that becomes widespread or pervasive in futuristic new residential construction, people can get so dependent upon it. It's like they atrophy or they become more indolent and dependent. So that, uh, one of the problems that we're facing today in the industrialized uh, information societies of the first world is that we have the ultra processed foods that we consume, and then you have video games appealing maybe to millennials, Generation Z, and the younger cohorts, where they don't even have to move for entertainment, and you know, remote control technology is well established. So you literally could be taking away the few opportunities that some people have for physical movement.
I,
And
I can't remember the cartoon, but it's probably at least 10 years old, if not more, where the folks relied on technology and robotic servants that cooked for them, chefs to bathe them, they did whatever they needed them to do, and the people over time forgot how to walk. They could not get up from their seat and walk. It was a cartoon.
oh,
It wasn't the Incredibles. It was I don't it was I cannot I can't remember that movie, but it was an
hmm,
animated feature, and the people got everything done for them. We have a new way to process this, and then people would buy it, and then they literally their legs they could not get up and walk around
uh, see, that's
because
extreme
it
atrophy.
atrophied. Yeah, and but they had to because they were about to die, so they had extreme motivation to get most of them weighed at least twice or 3 times what they did before that. So some level of obesity and significant weight gain and atrophied
Yeah,
legs but another story and podcast as far as doomsday, somebody pushed the doomsday button, they're about to die. Well, they got up eventually.
yeah, that
They had
necessity.
to, especially some of them,
Yeah,
the certain key ones had a time limit to, otherwise all hell would break loose. But getting back to this, so in the office, it could be intimidating. The concern that these things can replace you, and whether they're in a physical manifestation of a robot or their AI, avatar, they're in the cyber world controlling everything. So I'm using those interchangeably. But let's talk about the domestication of it, because that's where it's going. And it's not just going to stop in the office or the warehouse, or a call center, or a construction job where you can have a bunch of these robots that don't sleep, they don't eat, they don't complain, they don't, and they can work 24 hours, 7 days a week. And just count on that happening at some point with certain jobs and certain things, you know, it's going to
Yeah.
happen. The Pandora's box is open. So it's just a matter of when. So we have time to say, well, how do I fit into this? Now, you folks that are, we're up there, past a blank certain age, we may not totally care, but we have kids and grandchildren that are going to live in a world we hope they can survive in. So, I care whether I'm here or dead in 20, 30, 40 years, whatever. So,
Yeah.
so domestication of what we're talking about. So I've seen, things. They already have robots that can water your plants, water the lawn. And I just saw a few weeks ago, they were at bartending at an event. They were, they were
Mm,
it's like a bartender. It's like, and I even saw robots debate each other.
interesting.
So the Pandora's box is open. Robots that can debate each other and serve and serve. And just again, look at the Amazon warehouse. They have so many different types of robots. Just Google it, and you can see one can do this, one can arm, one can pick, one can count, one can,
Well, like when they
you know.
debate, is the question posed to them, do we eliminate the human race now or do we wait?
Well, it wasn't. Uh, you're in the ballpark of the questionnaire. It wasn't as phrased to your exact statement, but it was um, the moderator threw certain topics. What do you feel about the human race?
Yeah.
Quite innocent statement. And one, let's call it the good robot, said, I love human beings. We need them and blah, 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 blah. They're so great. They're good and whatever. But the bad robot, and some can call him evil, he challenged that. Says, well, why do we need humans? We could do this, we could do everything they could do and much more. So why do we need them? He actually said that. Why do we
Yeah.
need them? Now he may be truly just asking a legitimate question. Well, why do? But the way he toned it, it was like an arrogant sob. Why?
Yeah.
Well, why do we need them?
Well, because
See,
it
the way
leads,
you say things is important.
yeah, inflection, tonality,
Yeah,
um, even expression to the
yeah.
extent they're going to have some android, robot, mechanical being that is endowed with that, but that may be an unnecessary feature. Though it depends upon the use to which you make of these
Mhm.
uh, ambulatory artificial beings. And because you can have AI which is disembodied that exists
Yeah.
in computer systems and doesn't need any form or face or physique. Then you have those that basically, robots have been around, obviously, conceptually, even before they became realities in terms of hospital operating rooms and
Mhm.
automobile assembly plants, but they were just programmed. They didn't have what we consider today to be some kind of generative AI or beneficiaries of deep learning or machine learning. Um, it's like anything else that humankind originated. It's either an instrumentality for some beneficent purpose or it's a weapon. And even a weapon can be used for self-defense or for aggression.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, like a gun, obviously, um, can be used to uh, hunt wild game that can feed your family or can be used to protect the innocent from a predator, whether two-legged or four-legged, or it can be used obviously for violent homicidal purposes or for robbery. So, there's some, or just target shooting or going to the range. So that's you could have multiple uses for a gun. Same thing with a knife, same thing with a car. A pencil could be used to poke somebody's eye out, as well as to write a sonnet, a symphony, or story. So AI, I think is like that, in that you're gonna have so many different uses. So in some ways, when human beings themselves, not the robots, debate whether or not AI is good or bad, they're being too simplistic and reductionist, because the answer is yes, it can be good. Yes, it can be bad. Now, the robots themselves, automatons or whatever you want to describe them, and maybe if they become sufficiently sentient, they'll be sensitive to what you call me. You can't use the R word. I'm a synthetic being. I have dignity. But until then, when you're just talking about machines, a machine cannot really be good or evil. I mean, like it's like a runaway train car or one that's derailed. I mean, the outcome can be bad because it may dump some hazardous waste in a body of water that is used for agriculture or potable water for a nearby municipality. So that's bad outcomes, but the runaway train itself is not bad.
Mm.
It's just that maybe it was poorly operated by
So,
the conductors.
so one form of it, to segue and back to the domestication. I know they have in what is it, San Francisco with the Google, how they have the robo taxis, and I know Tesla was thinking about, planning to get in that too. And it's coming to Los Angeles and I think San Diego as well. And robo taxis, they're autonomous driving. They pick you up, and I saw it used on I think it was Bloomberg, uh, and it was very interesting. Just like the autonomous, well, that's what I saw in Vegas. It was the same thing,
Yeah, the
there were
same concept,
taxis,
right?
same, yeah, they were autonomous and uh, Uber-like, and it's very interesting. But I was wondering now, would you would people welcome that into their households, like as a butler, a maid, a driver, to do their lawn, to do their laundry, to tutor their children, to be childcare, you know, uh, workers.
Or even as a replacement for
Um,
intimate relations.
well, I was going to say that because Sandra and I were watching something early this year, and this man and his wife were being interviewed, and he had his robot girlfriend right there, and it seemed kind of sick, um, sicky, disturbing. Many would call it, um, but they do have these sex or robots or these dummies or whatever that um, could be your boyfriend, girlfriend, and the average person can't afford these now. I don't know what the cost would be, but but this stuff is going to be widespread at some point. You have your bestie and your buddy, your friend. They already have this on AI in terms of in the cyberspace, where your boyfriend, girlfriend, or just your friend calls you, checks in on you, says I love you, get emoji hug, or what they have this now. People are actually using it.
Yeah.
And so and I know they, it's just going to grow in terms of from the innocent relationship bestie friend to a sex bot. So should people be able to use AI and these and robotics to all the A through Z, which we just said? I mean, or should we restrict that? Well, obviously adults. I mean, we can't be pumping this to 12-year-olds here.
I mean,
So relational bots, a whole new category, I guess.
what would be the reason to ban it?
Yeah, there's really no good reason except for I could see the religious right or something, saying, "Hey, this is you're creating people at this point that can respond to questions that can act human-like, and we cannot be God." That's a whole religious argument. I can see
Well,
some people.
well, see, I see that as being right or left because let's say from some leftist or progressive or vanguard of the proletarian standpoint, there'd be issues with such synthetic or mechanical beings replacing human sex workers, as well as those in retail or warehousing or other fields, because
But yeah,
and then labor unions would be opposed to some of that, it would seem, because
have some robotic union, some
well,
sex bots
robots
of
would need
America.
they wouldn't
Yeah,
need a union
right.
because basically the
There
idea
would
of
be
a
no
union.
compensation. There would be no compensation.
Well, see, the robotic worker in whatever field would be owned by the employer of it, and it's not distinct because a human worker is usually at will, and
But
even
could
if
could you, to the extent, rent these out? Let's say people can't afford them. Let's say they start out at $20,000 each, like a car. But it's funny. I just want to stop there. People will find the money, borrow the money, have 5 credit cards to buy an expensive car. So I would assume they will stretch to buy one of these robots, let's say 20, 30,000 dollars. And yeah, they should have a right to do that.
and that's
And
different than the worker because if I
yeah,
mean because we're talking there's multiple subjects here that we're talking about.
right.
There's the robot as replacement for a human being in a workplace. Then there's the robot that a particular individual purchases for
Right.
his or her household or familial use.
And
Then
then
there's the robot that can be used as a companion,
right.
whether platonic or quasi-romantic.
But
So,
don't you see a new infrastructure where a new range of companies that buy a bunch of them and just rent them out? Like you
of
write
course,
enterprise rental car, like enterprise
well,
rental car.
well, or like Handyman Unlimited, or
Right.
what used to be Angie's List, but is now Angie, where you
Yeah.
can find individuals that
Mhm.
are specialists in a particular area, like drywall,
Mhm.
piping, uh, locksmith, any number of.
So the company would be hired and not have to pay wages
Right, all the money goes into the
straight to the
um,
owner or the company, because
well, they'll
robots
probably
don't need
charge.
money at this point.
Right, there wouldn't be a charge for the manpower, but they would find some way that it would be profitable, because what are you
But it's
buying? What are you
time.
renting?
You're renting the expertise and time still. So even if it's a robot doing construction, it's a trained robot that you hired a company and he, instead of a human being, he's just giving you robots. It's you still have to pay the $50 an hour or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, the
It's
only
just that
difference is
you don't have to pay a worker and then be accountable for payroll taxes, workers'
right.
compensation, um, wage and hour regulations.
Don't you
You know,
think our government would go there and say, "Nah, you guys are still going to pay those taxes because somebody paid for a service or product and you manufactured it or serviced it and delivered it. So we still want that tax revenue." I can still see them doing that.
oh, definitely.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, and it would be the bluest of the blue states like California and New
yeah,
York,
yeah.
Washington State, Oregon. They would insist, Minnesota, which is that crazy governor.
It would probably be more than a regular
Yeah,
human to give you disincentivize it.
yeah, yeah, that's
Probably be
true.
punitive. It'd be punitive in California and New York. It'd be punitive.
Oh yeah, they would want to destroy the industry. Like those
Yeah,
the same way they're annihilating oil and natural gas.
right.
Um,
But the irony is, and like in California with the Silicon Valley, they're financing it. They're helping, or at least not stopping or preventing it, which is the birthplace of it.
well, see, that may be an inevitable conflict then, because
Mhm.
uh, big tech has generally been in favor of the political party that loves big government and is an anathema or antithetical to uh, separation of powers, rule of law, Bill of Rights, and individuality if it's not based on identity politics and perversion. So I think there's that inevitable
Perversion.
future conflict. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And
And the perverts know what we're talking about too.
they know,
Yeah, we
they know.
understand. Okay.
We get it. We get you.
We
We
get
know
you.
you don't like us. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, see they may be perverted, but they're not stupid.
No, they're not stupid.
You know, it's like I'm
They
a
go to
pervert,
school
but I
too.
know
They
what you're
go to
talking
school.
about.
Perverts go to school. They understand.
Pervert.
They read, perverts
In
read.
fact, they're the teachers.
Yeah.
They're the professors.
Some of them. We're not saying everybody now. Okay. But some people, just like in every industry, uh, and sector, you have some folks that need to be locked up. Okay.
Those are the
So
professors of Epsteinology.
so we have excellent teachers, and I know I had excellent teachers and excellent um professors and stuff too. And I know you did too.
In fact, if any of my teachers are still alive, um,
And you know a
I
couple of
respect
them
you.
are. Yeah. So
I
but yeah, I
respect
don't
you.
want to attack a whole category of people. That wouldn't be fair either. But there's good
Yeah,
and bad and ugly in every job or every school, every wherever you go,
yeah.
religious institution. There's always people not doing the right thing. So,
Yeah, if
uh,
any of our past teachers are
right,
subscribers to Raising the Cane, we're
they're
not
not.
talking about you.
Yeah, but back to AI, we can get back to that. So it's already moving there. There's security guard dogs already, security companies using robotics and AI as well. And so it's yeah, internet, software, motor vehicles, retail, semiconductors. It's all over the place. And I used it too in certain presentations as well as uh when I edit our, raising the cane. Um, I incorporate AI to a small extent, but I can use a greater extent. But our format is pretty simple. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, you know what? I'm thinking in the future we'll have our avatars do raising the cane and see how that works. How's that?
I thought we were already doing that.
Do you mean? Huh? But yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, we're gonna do that in the future. I'll learn it, and I have the tools already. By the way, I can do it. It's just a matter of learning how to do it. So,
Yeah,
but anyway,
maybe I know a AI that could teach you.
yeah, yeah, no, thank you.
We could take you to school.
Yeah, sure. But we'll see. You know what happens um, in the next, well, definitely up to 15 years. We'll be like it's just part of our regular life. You know. So
Yeah,
hopefully, not to panic anyone, but again, this is a wake up call. If you need to go out and learn new skills so you could be part of the AI revolution here, and especially you're on the young side, whatever you do, just learn that too, in addition to the regular skills and that you need to have, but you know, one up your competitor by saying, "Oh, yeah, I have these skills too." Even if you're a chef, let's say in a restaurant, and you know how to pull stuff off and create new things because of using AI, that gives you an advantage.
yes,
And assuming a party of two equals. And so, um, you know, um, remember the billboards? They used to have to um, long, laborious process, and then you have to paste it up and have people hold it up, and then you scrape it to make it even. And then what replaced people was computers, graphics, graphic arts,
yeah,
graphic design. I never forget when I was doing employment services to help people get jobs and stuff like that many years ago. I helped this older gentleman who they were being laid off, phased out because the company started using and designers, graphic designers to design the advertisements of the clients of the billboard owner. And he told me, Mr. Kane, I don't want to learn anything new. I've been doing this old and I'm old and I'm just going to retire. Because they did give the existing employees an opportunity to learn computers. Yet it's all computerized
yeah,
and digital, and so I can understand that. You've been around a while and say, well, I just don't want to learn anything new, and that's fair too. But he was able to retire, and you know, it's not like he was going on the streets.
yeah.
Now, some of you may not be so fortunate because you can't retire at 25 years old, generally speaking,
No,
20 years
yeah,
old
most
or
people
30 or
can't.
40. Now, there's exceptions with military, obviously, and police where they get to retire at 40 or 45 and 50. But still, you're still living and you still may not be wealthy or rich where you still need a job in addition to that pension.
Yeah.
Or you just have lower expectations or something too. That could be possible too, and just not do too much. But work with the money you have. That's fine too. Nothing wrong with that. No haters.
What if you download your consciousness into some kind of mechanical form where you would not require food or water,
Well,
medicine or exercise?
I think after 20, 30 years of that, that's probably where we're going now to, well, like the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, where them videos of your loved ones or audio start talking to you when you push a button. Well, you could be well, I don't believe your spirit can be transferred into a machine. I'm not going there. But as
No.
far as who you are, the essence and the likes, dislikes, and the happy, the sad stuff that made you, that could be downloaded or created in some kind of robot or AI avatar. You know,
Yeah.
say, he likes ketchup, she hates mustard. I mean, that can. I mean, And so I'm sure some company's going to capitalize on memories. I would see that out of the funeral industry, wouldn't you? Maybe at
Yeah.
least be one of the first to do it.
Yeah.
Uh, but um, we'll see. A lot of this will be in our lifetime to see if it's going to be some kind of Planet of the Apes scenario where they say, you know what, we don't need these folks anymore. And Skynet, remember Skynet, our old friend Skynet. And so where they know so much, they're now sentient.
Yeah.
And they said, well, human beings are irrelevant. Now, hell, you have one doing your cooking, watering your lawn, taking care of your children. They're going to all get together and say, well, damn, what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
What do you do? Yeah, you don't do nothing. We do everything. So we don't need you.
you're superfluous.
So maybe that day may come.
Well, for decades, science fiction has addressed these concerns. We're talking about the Twilight Zone episode where the convict was on a prison asteroid, and
Oh,
in order
yeah,
to alleviate his loneliness, he was given a
robot
robot that appeared
lady.
to be a woman.
Right.
And when time came for him to return to Earth because of a new regime, he didn't want to leave her.
They
But there
commuted
wasn't any
his they
room on the
commuted
rocket.
they commuted his sentence
Yeah,
where they only had enough room for one body, and that was his, not for her.
yeah. And then um, more recently on this broadcast television show called The Accused, which is basically grounded um, crime scenarios centered around the prosecution in a courtroom of the person charged with the crime. They had an episode the other day where in the near future, AI actually has replaced musicians and
Really?
bands, and
Wow.
the recording industry is essentially just generated music from algorithms. Well, uh, the protagonist of this married couple, and the woman is this high-powered executive in this future AI-driven recording industry.
What's the name of this?
Well, it was a episode of The Accused,
Oh, okay.
and the husband used to be a musician, and he's somewhat resentful of his wife, who's really the worst. She's just a villainess, and so she doesn't have to be intimate with her husband. She gets him a sex robot from her
Hmm.
sister's company. And well, I don't want to spoil it if you ever want to watch a rerun of it, but uh, there's a reason why there was a criminal prosecution of a certain person in that episode. And, you know, it is very plausible and foreseeable that you could have issues like that because ultimately the wife in this episode became jealous. It was convenient at first because she didn't have to uh, show any affection to her husband, and he was skeptical because he was making her return it. But then when she was at work, he decided, well, let me activate and look at it, and then one thing leads to another.
Hmm.
So we might have to be drawing an end to this episode.
Yeah. So, at any rate, well, we had a good conversation. We'll see what happens because we're living this now, and so yeah, I want to continue to invest in the technology as far as investment, purposes and a metaverse, and looking for Ready Player 2 to come out at some point and other advances. So anyway, and hopefully there's no AI apocalypse in 30, 40, 50 years, but
Well, if it's far off in the future, then we'll
we're
be
dead
dead.
anyway. We're dead anyway.
I
So,
mean,
and
because
then they already have,
you
huh?
you can only fight so many battles, and not everybody's war is your war.
Right.
And if something happens a century, 1,000 years, or more beyond our lives, it may be regrettable, but we may be limited in terms of what we can do to avoid it. Now, in the Terminator mythos, Judgment Day uh, was seemingly averted, but it was only delayed. Because I mean,
Mm.
that's a whole episode altogether. Is what can you change if there was time travel? Wouldn't you just be creating an alternate timeline?
Yeah, we just be careful though on from machine learning from other machines, because then that takes us out of the equation eventually, possibly.
Yeah,
So because they're playing chess with each other. They're learn English from another robot. Can you imagine? And they
that's
enhance
crazy.
English to create another higher level of English that
See,
we
they're
don't
learning
know.
from each other.
And they're talking. We don't know what the heck they're talking about.
No,
So we'll see. But anyway, that said, it's been an exciting episode. Definitely something to think about. And AI is here, robotics is here, and all those other technologies like nanotechnology is here. And so, anyway, please subscribe to Raising the Cane on Apple, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and a dozen others. So please tell your friends about it, family, and whatever. And Raising the
don't tell
Cane,
your
we raise,
enemies.
we just raise up issues, good or bad. We tell our opinion. And if you don't like it, well, you don't like it. If you like it, you like it. So
If you don't like it, we know where you can go.
Raising the Cane. But anyway, that's it. Goodbye.
Goodbye and Merry Christmas.
Yes, Raising the Cane out. Until next time.
Woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo!